Hello everyone, welcome back. With continuation to the previous topic, that is your account dimension. We have seen one of the property that is your decimal places, right? So when you go to your account, go to your account here. So within the account properties, so we have the decimal places here. As discussed, so decimal places 2 for your revenue, okay? That is your sales revenue, should be 2 decimal places, and for salary expense, I want to have 3 decimal places separately for each member. So that is possible with your account dimension members settings. And we have seen that sales revenue is 2 decimal places here, and as well as sales expense here, it is 3 decimal places. Okay, when you go for account model settings, and in the same way, if we go for your measures, and within the measures, we have set the decimal places to 0. All the members will automatically have the decimal places as 0, right? In order to this, as we have seen, we need to go to your structure priority. And now I need to set it to measures and click on OK. Save it. Once done, we need to go to the refresh page. After refreshing the page, you can see that all the members now have 0 decimal places, right? Okay. Next, going to the second property, we'll discuss based on your formula. The property formula in your account dimension will allow you to write some business logic, or you can write some cross calculations, right, directly into your dimensions, rather than creating a separate script or creating some formulas at the story level. So for that, let's go to, we'll create one KPI. We'll keep it as KPI 00, KPI, and it will be under your root. Okay, so we'll try to keep it under your root hierarchy. And account type, we'll make this as non-financial. So in order to create some formulas, we'll create some KPI like a net profit margin, right? So keep it as KPI 01, and the text will be net profit. Then this is a node for this, parent node for this KPI. Then after that, we'll have a formula here. This can be your net profit divided by revenue, or we can say revenue minus expense divided by revenue. So we'll make it simple. So we'll make it as net profit. So I'll go to the function here, go to the formula, and make it as net profit divided by your revenue. So we'll take here revenues. Now click on OK. Now this will be your NFIN. And for your calculated formulas, we'll not be using sum. When you do at the detail level, yes, fine. Like, and we have to give the decimal places, say, for example, 0. And one more thing is for the scaling here, we'll try to set it as percentage. Okay. And next, I'll give it as KPI 02. So what more combination it can be there? For example, your expense ratio. It will be your So this one also will make it under this. We can make this as expense divided by revenue. So that is your expense divided by revenues. And this extra one is coming automatically. And this also will be a percentage. Okay, next one more. We'll keep it as KPI 03 and say debit ratio. And this also will keep it as this. And this can be your loan divided by your assets into 100. We can keep it up. Your loan divided by assets. And just remove this extra one and enter. And KPI 04. And it can be your return on assets, you can keep it, or otherwise cash ratio. Let it show under the main root. So this will be cash divided by your loan. Your loan percentage. And just remove this 0 here. And this will take all as NFIN. And when you go for this, we can take this as percentage. And this all will make it a 0. And for the last one, we'll try to have the value itself, and a decimal place we can show this as 1. Say how many, what is the ratio we want to see that. Fine. Okay. Now let's go back and try to save it. Once done, go back to your account model. Just refresh one time. So once done, just come down. And from here, we'll just come down here. We can see that your KPI, it's showing as 3, all right? 3, 1 here. So for this, if it is showing some node value, then in the aggregation, you try to set this as text or label here, right? Now save it. Now refresh again. So there is only a node to be displayed for me. So let's make this one as KPI, and this should be blank here, right? So KPI's net profit margin is 17%, and expense ratio is 83%, debit ratio is 30%, and your cash ratio is 1.7, right? So this is how we try to create some formulas and KPIs within this one. Cool. Okay. The next topic is one of the property. So we have seen the description, hierarchy, formula. Then account type is done, and the aggregation type we have just set it. Then we go for exception aggregation. So this is your exception aggregation. Okay. So unit type, normally we'll take this and specify this as currency. So we can display all this one as your currencies here. And these things we'll leave it as it is. Okay, that is for unit type. Normally, when you go for currency and you will not be having your fixed unit, you cannot change any fixed unit here. But for unit, when you take this as a unit, then for unit, then you can specify which unit is it, right? For mostly your quantity, for example, right? You're trying to measure. Then for that, you can specify what is our default unit, which you're going to use this. Fine. So the next topic is your currency conversion. So next topic, we'll go for exception aggregation. So as a thumb rule, if it is your income and expense, we have to do the aggregation type as sum, right? Whereas your assets and whereas your whereas your assets and liabilities, we have to do the aggregation over time, right? So coming to exception aggregation, as a thumb of rule, your income and expenses are aggregated and you can use sum for that, right? It's a normal aggregation. But when you go for assets and liabilities, they are aggregated over time and must be linked to an aggregation dimension in the model, such as your date dimension, right? Say, for example, your income. So within the income, we have sales revenue. In sales revenue, I'll take this one, for example, quarter one, and this is Jan, Feb, March, right? Now, in Jan month, your sales revenue is 1,000, then it is 2,000, and next month you got 3,000. In Jan month, you done a sales revenue of 1,000, then 2,000 and 3,000. So total revenue for the 3 months for the quarter is 5 plus 1, 6, 6,000. It has to do a sum here. Expense. So you spend, say for example, 500, then after that, sorry. So for your salary expense, in the total month of Jan, you've done 500, and February 600, and in March you've done an expense of 500. So total expense when you see it is 500 plus 500, 1,000, 1,600. Okay. So either it's an income or your expense. So they have to go for summation. Whereas your assets normally will carry forward for the next year. So what are the cash you have it carry forward. So next year, what are the loans you are there? They carry forward to the next year. And normally when we go for your cash, okay, say quarter one, Jan, Feb, and March. So you have a cash of say for example 1,000. Then out of this cash, normally you spend something, and finally you have some 900. And after that, again it is 1,000. Fine. In Jan month, you have a cash of total cash. What you have in hand is 1,000. And after that, you spend some 100 in this. Then you got is there. And again, in the month of March, you have 1,000 cash in hand. So now, in the month of March, I have 1,000, but it doesn't mean that it is 2,900. We cannot aggregate the data here. All right. In the same way, inventory also. Total inventory, I have, say, for example, 2,000. Then after that, after some issues and say, for example, some sales I've done it, then now currently I have 1,500. Then after finally, now current, I have 1,000 as my uh, account balance, which is there within this one. Now, even inventory also, we are not going to aggregate the total stocks. As of Jan, this is 2000 is my value. And in February, it is 1500. In the month of March, uh, when we make a query that in the month of March, what is the stock value I got it, then you should tell it is 1000 only, right? If you ask in the month of Feb, you should tell specifically 1500 only. Okay. So if you're going for quarterly stock, then I may tell that at the end of this month, right? What is the stock value? For example, if the current month is Jan, then it will show here as 2000 because only one value has been entered. Next, if you're already updating the value for February, then it should show as 1500 last value. And if it is you enter the value for 1000, then it should show as 1000 is the current stock here. There is a last value there. Okay. So your income and expenses, we try to do an aggregation of some, whereas assets and liabilities, so and equities, that we have to make it as exception aggregation. Right? In exception aggregation, we'll not do a sum of the whole values, but find that particular value for a particular period. Right? So here the date or time dimension is required. Okay. So date or time dimension with reference. For example, if it is a month, so what is the month end stock, right? Will be your opening balance stock and all. So whether for example, you're taking your so exception aggregation will always be linked to your account dimension. That is your aggregation dimension. Always it will be linked to your aggregation dimension. Normally, it is your date, right? Okay. So now let us go for some practical now. So we'll try to do this exception aggregation at your account level as well as your measures level, right? So both the options are there. First, we'll try to do at the account level. Say, for example, we'll try to work out on cash. For example, your asset is your cash, what you have, right? So for cash, what you have to do is we need to go for exception aggregation. So exception aggregation, what you want to do is what is the last value? And for that, we need to specify your date. So we'll specify the dimension as date, last value, and the exception aggregation is with reference to your date there, right? Now go for save, go back to your report. Now cash, now we need to spread out here. Now we need to spread out. We'll make it a little bit longer. Then the date field. Let's go for currently the stock is 25 here. So we'll try to go to freeze your dimension header rows and let's go for now cash for January. I'll make this as 5,000 and inventory is 1,000. So total assets you got 6,000, right? Then I'll try to put 2,000 for your loan. Then capital is 2,000 and retained earnings is your 2,000. Okay, so that your balance sheet goes to 0 here. Now here, what we got is it is updating your latest status of this one. Okay, it is not taking the last value of this. And secondly, if I go for February month, Let me go to 7,000. Let me take this as 7,000. Then after that, this as 2,000. Then this has to 3,000. And my capital as 3,000. And here I'll take it as 3,000. Now your balance sheet goes to 0. Cool. Now, what is the latest cash you have? It is not 5,000. It is your 7,000. Inventory is 2,000. Then there's 3. Then this is 3, 6, and 3 here. So this is the main functionality of your exception aggregation, right? Next topic, we'll go for simple currency conversion. Okay.